morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're all having an excellent day. Let's pop on over to this screen. Hi there. Hello. Hi. Yes, good. I'm alive. You're alive. At least I believe you are. How's everybody doing today? Hello. Oh, goodness. Man, I feel good today. Hyos, thank you very much for the 33 months. Castride, thank you for the 25. Hope you have a good day at work, my dude. Alright, thank you very much. Good old Gar music. Let's put something a little more relaxing on here. And, let's see. Why don't we do that? And then, we can do over here. Cool. Hello there. You enjoyed the thankful video? I'm glad to hear that. That video always makes me laugh a little bit, because whenever I talk about things that are like future content, I have a very strict view on how certain things should be allocated when it comes to like what kind of characters should be legendary heroes, what kind of characters should be legendary lords, you know, what are the best situations for those, and I feel really strongly about that. And there's always inevitably someone in the comments that just gets fucking furious with everything, my like of, because I really like legendary heroes. I think they're awesome, and I tend to enjoy them more than legendary lords, and that is definitely an opinion that some people have issues with. Hi, Gigantes, Rotating Potato, and Canucko. Welcome to the stream. Good to see y'all. Also, Dog, lovely to see you, my dude. How you been? I feel great today. I got up really early. I took Sadie for a really nice long like speed walk. We went probably about 4 or 5 miles. We kind of just take our time and have a good one, but because we go this really nice scenic route through a bunch of forest and around some ponds and stuff. Took us about an hour and 10 minutes, hour 20 minutes. So she's not, and we did it yesterday too, so I've done it 2 days in a row. I'm trying to go every morning. If I can get out for like an hour or so of just speed walking for it gets her happy, it gets me happy. It's a good way to start the day. And I'm awake, which helps. Alex Loeb, thank you very much for the 40 months. I appreciate that. 40 months. God damn, it's a long fucking time. Seven Fox. There we go. Yeah, I really want it for the end times videos. I actually think it's really important to like explain the full lore behind all those things, because the 85% of the stuff that pops up in the end times was like completely brand new and was like, we'd never seen anything like it. It literally came out of left field and just like elbow dropped onto Warhammer Fantasy. So I don't think it's good to just be like, oh, here it is, moving on. I think you kind of have to explain everything related to it, because otherwise nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. And there are cool parts. You know, it's like, I understand a lot of people hate the end times, understandably so, but I've been rereading large sections of it recently for all sorts of reasons. And like, there's so many good parts. Like, there are a lot of parts that are genuinely really fun. And like are good storytelling and are exciting. It's just that the overall composite is such a fucking mess, and there are definitely like a lot of issues, but I think it's kind of been like horse kicked to death so bad by people that just hate what it represents, because I think I would say the vast majority of people have never read it, because it's not easy to read. It's very large, it's very expensive, it's very difficult to get your hands on it, and the little novels are not really that important. They're just not, and they cover a fraction of what the big books do. Because they're very like narrative focused on specific parts of the big books. You know, like if you read Rise of the Horned Rat, which is the 4th novel, it is purely pretty much from Queek Headtaker's perspective. Like the entire book is pretty much just from Queek's perspective. Which means that you don't get to see any of the war in Lestria, which is a huge part of the other book. You also don't get to see the Siege of Middenheim, which is a huge part of the other book. Yeah. But, so I think it's important stuff to cover. One of these days, I think I'd really like to do a long sit-down set of videos that cover everything that happens and be able to talk about it while also analyzing what was good about it and what was bad about it. Because it would be interesting, I think, to see. Warzags, Morky Mischief, how you doing, my dude? Thank you so much for the super chat, I really appreciate that. Grimlock and Gazbag were guests of Malekith, whereupon Malekith gave them both gifts which amplified their power. I'm wondering, did Malekith try to teach Gazbag any dark magic? I really doubt it, because... So for those that don't know, Grimlock and Gazbag were the big bads of the Greenskins for Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, which is an alternate universe, being the Warhammer Fantasy MMO. And it's a completely different universe. Like the big bad chaos guy is Takarzanek, who's a very different character than Archaon because he's a mono-god themed big bad, being a big Zinchian dude. Very, very cool character though. But for the Greenskins, they wanted to have a character, or they wanted to have a duo that represented both the goblins and the orcs, as opposed to just having like a big orc or a big goblin. So they created a new duo character, which is Grimlock and Gazbag, which is a really fucking big orc that's got a little goblin shaman sitting on his shoulder, who's super freakishly powerful at magic. So the two of them together are like unstoppable. Because they make up for each other's weaknesses. And the big thing with them is that it's revealed that the reason they're so powerful is that Malekith, they were both slaves, that Malekith had, the Dark Elves had as Greenskin slaves. And Malekith picked out Grimlock and Gazbag, and he gave them amulets, I think? He gave them some kind of piece of jewelry or whatever that, like, grossly enhanced their powers. And it made them super duper powerful, and also allowed him to exert some control over them. Which is why the Greenskins work together with Chaos and the Dark Elves. It's because those little amulet thingies are actually controlling Grimlock and Gazbag. Did Malekith try to teach him any magic? No, he didn't. Gazbag purely uses Wa magic. Granted, his Wa magic is significantly stronger than any other Wa wizards. Like, he literally just blows a giant hole in Carricate Peaks. Like, the walls surrounding, I think it's like the East Gate or the West Gate. He summons like a giant laser beam that just obliterates a part of the wall. Because Carricate Peaks, if I remember right, I think it's I'm trying to, Greenskins versus Dwarfs. I'm trying to remember what the zones are. Oh, Warhammer Online. See, yeah, Carricate Peaks, yeah. So the Greenskin capital is Carricate Peaks, because the Greenskins capture Carricate Peaks at the start of the thing, which is weird in retrospect. Like, you figure they would have made Blackcrag the Greenskin capital, but they ended up making it Carricate Peaks. But the whole thing with that is that Carricate Peaks falls to the Greenskins at the start of that particular storyline because of Grimlock and Gazbag. They capture it and just decimate it. I don't actually remember if Belagar is dead or not in that. I think he escapes. But there's like a whole fucking thing about it. But anyway, Gazbag doesn't use any dark magic. That being said, it's interesting about the whole thing of like Malekith's amulet enhancing Gazbag's powers, his sorcery, because if you've like watched stuff on Lorebeards when we talk about the greenskins, Wa magic isn't really magic. It's similar to magic, and magic affects it, and it is a type of magic, but it's more like psychic energy and less like traditional magic. So like it's related, but it's different. So Malekith creating an amulet to enhance it is a bit I'm a bit low, as in like I'm quiet, you can't hear me very well. I could move my mic closer if that would help. Here, let me, I don't mind if it's on screen a little bit, because y'all are in front of it, but let me know if that's a little better. I don't think I can make it any louder. I could make the background quieter, so if like the music stuff too loud, I can turn that down, but I actually cannot make myself any louder. But let me know if that's better. But anyway, so Malekith creating an amulet that would be able to affect Grimlock and Gazbag. I could see it. If you were doing it for realsies, you would actually have to, I think, do an interesting exploration of how exactly that works, and how he probably used dark magic to enhance both of their abilities and their powers. But I think that would be relatively easy to explain without breaking the setting. But yeah. Also, Bishop of Cheddar, Shady Spinach, good to see you guys. Grombrindal the answer, hello. Just got back from college. Lots of history learned again. Went to the different isms. Is that what that is? Also, which Warhammer fantasy race would be the most reflective of communism? I don't know if there's a super great example. Honestly, a lot of the Warhammer world relies very heavily on. A lot of the Warhammer world relies very heavily on different types of royalty structures. So virtually every single group within Warhammer Fantasy has kind of that hierarchical structure where there's some form of nobility or royalty up at the top, and then it works its way down to the common folk. And what kind of separates all of the different races is how that structure works and what's just exactly how much political power that person at the top has versus everybody else. For instance, if you're looking at the Empire, the Emperor has relatively little power compared to the other like kings and lords that you might find for the other races. If you're looking at it from the sense of communism, in that like it's a society where everyone performs a particular role and there's no real true sense of like upper class versus lower class, and everyone, you know, it's kind of like this functioning machine. Honestly, maybe the Lizardmen, you could argue, are very much in that kind of structure where they very much have an understanding of a great plan and everyone's quite literally born into a role and there's no movement within classes because it's not necessary. Everyone is provided what they need in order to flourish, and performs roles, but it's dictated to them by like bizarre godlike alien things that are dead and gone. So I don't know if that would count. But I mean, just because most of all the other factions have different flavors of monarchies, where over in Grand Cathay, you have the Celestial Dragon Emperor and the Moon Empress, who then dictate down to the Dragon Children, who then dictate down to their descendants being the Shukengun, who then dictate down to like several layers, where eventually you hit like humans that oversee their various structures and cities and stuff, and then you got the peasantry. Bretonnia has a very strong structure of kings and queens and noble blood. However, they have really strict responsibilities to the peasant class, which, you know, the older lore and a lot of the memes about Bretonnia do a poor job of representing that it should be properly represented. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's necessarily a really good, maybe the Chaos Dwarfs, maybe, but Like, they're so focused on, like, a really industrial system that, you know, utilizes really intense slavery, but they don't tend to enslave their own kind, being, like, other Chaos Dwarfs. Instead, you know, everybody else. I don't know. I'd have to, like, sit and think about it for a while and actually, like, remind myself what all the technical definitions of communism are. Is the new Arcane Journal better for Bretonnia lore? Not the Arcane Journal. No, not really. The Arcane Journals are really tiny. They're super duper tiny. They're only like maybe a couple pages. They're only like usually 20 or 30 pages. They're really short, and most of it is rules. So they don't offer a lot of really good lore by any means. That being said, the big rule book, like the really big core rule book, is, I think, really good for showing off the updated lore. And Bretonnia's new lore is much better. It's so much better. Bretonnia's new lore, I'm hoping that the second edition of the old world is gonna bring us back to bigger books. But the big thing, Bretonnia's just makes a lot more sense so far, though I'm still waiting for them to get a bit more of a focus on a couple things. The biggest thing that Bretonnia has to nail, which is tricky to do from a bit of a writing perspective, is the idea that there is a very strong separation between the peasant class and the knight class, like the nobility class and the peasantry. And there is zero, there are exceptions, but for the vast majority of the time, there is no social mobility whatsoever. But the Knights of Bretonnia, the royalty, have a significant amount of duties that they have to fulfill to the peasantry, where they have to protect them, and they have to ensure that they live their lives in peace, and they have to do right by them according to the codes of chivalry. But a lot of the writers, I think, especially back in like the older editions, got a little too caught up with like the Monty Python memes and did a really bad job of examining the codes of chivalry. Because the idea is that in order for the peasantry to be properly abused by the people that rule over them, in the sense that like the peasantry are disgusting, dirty, uneducated, horribly treated miscreants, relies on the people that are ruling over them not obeying the codes of chivalry, because the codes of chivalry indicate that they're supposed to actually treat the peasantry relatively well. Now, the bad side of Bretonnia comes from the lack of social mobility is relatively bad. The very like negative view towards progression as far as like technological progression, of societal progression and things like that, also causes Bretonnia a lot of problems. But Bretonnia has been moving in a direction where there is a rising middle class in Bretonnia from merchants, particularly within the port cities. So like Bordelot, Lyonesse, and all those scattered, because like Bretonnia has got a massive amount of ports. It's like one of the most naval focused human nations in the world. For like its relative size compared to how much coastline it has is fucking insane compared to even the Empire, Kislev. I would even say even compared to like Talea and Astalia. Because Astalia, a lot of the people of Astalia live up in the mountains further from the coast, and they have several like large ports, but they rely really heavily on the mountains to act as natural defenses. And then the Empire and Kislev are just nowhere close to Bretonnia as far as like the sheer amount of coastline they have. So because of that, Bretonnia actually has a surprisingly strong middle class within those areas. And a lot of that just gets washed over because of memes. What was Korn like as a kid? I don't know. He's probably a bully. Once a bully, always a bully. You know how they go. Kabanda, the Huntsmaster. Gotrek often says that that's not what a Slayer would do, but almost every other Slayer in the books we meet don't live up to Gotrek's idea of a Slayer. Is he really saying that's not what Grimnir would do? Yeah, basically. Anytime a dwarf is like, that's not something this kind of dwarf would do, they're basically talking about an ancestor. And when you're talking about an ancestor, you're often talking about the ancestor gods. That this is not what an idealized version of a dwarf would do. And the idealized dwarf is the ancestor gods. So that would essentially be what he is trying to say. Survivor, good to see you as well. I don't know if I said hello to you or not already. Let's see. I hope they make Bretonnia much more influenced by the elves. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're supposed to be. That's what they're supposed to be. Like, Bretonnia, it is an important aspect of Bretonnia, because all of the Warhammer factions, you should focus on the dark sides, highlight the dark sides, as well as everything else. But Bretonnia, the last, before the old world, they were left with 6th edition being their last edition, and 6th edition was so grimy. It was so grimy. Where all of the 6th edition books basically were like, look how dark and terrible and grimdark and horrible the Warhammer world is. And all of the artwork is black and white, and it's really horror themed. With like really realistic depictions of like people that are dirty and filthy and uneducated and brutal. And if you look at literally any of the army books from 6th edition, they were very, very dark. And then 7th and 8th edition took a different angle on things. And 6th edition was like that because it was so heavily influenced by Mordheim. And it was very Mordheim coded, so to speak. Whereas 7th and 8th edition are not. 7th and 8th edition are very different. And took a much more, I don't know if hopeful is the right word, but I guess I would say hopeful. A much more epic leaning, where they focused on a lot of the good aspects of each of the factions. Where it was less about, when you would read an army book, it was less about, look how horrible everything is, and they were more like, this is why this faction is the most kick-ass awesome faction, and they're cool and awesome. And Bretonnia just didn't get that. So they missed out on that update. So their last book was kind of like, oh, Bretonnia kind of sucks, which in 6th edition, all of the books were like, oh, this place sucks. But they never got the update book that was like, oh, look how fucking cool we are. And so Total War had to do a lot of that, and then the old world's now doing that. But yeah. Hopefully that is helpful, helpful information. Do you think there's a chance the old world will bring anything on Araby and Kesh? Yes. I'm working on a thing to talk about that, but I'm not ready 100% to do that yet.
CA to give the Goblin Big Boss a bow, so it can function as a hybrid/skirmish unit, especially when on a wolf/chariot mount. This will also leave room for the Night Goblin Big Boss to be purely melee.
You know what, Yo Tom? That is such a good idea that I'm mad I did not think of until just now, that I'm actually going to drop it in a feedback thing right now. Oops, that's not the right thing. Struck by a cool idea. Don't know if this would be possible. There you go. I literally just sent that in. So yeah, it's a great idea. I have sent that in. Do I think we'll see any cool Age of Sigmar reveals at the upcoming preview day? I hope so. After the last one, they better. To my understanding, I don't know if there's any, like, I imagine it'll be whatever the third, to those who have picked up the new, because I haven't done it yet, maybe I'll go do it today. To those who have gone and picked up the new Skaven book or, Stormcast Eternals book, they didn't reveal anything else new, right? Like, all of the models that are in the book are out now. I don't think there's supposed to be a new wave of any more Skaven or Stormcast stuff, to my knowledge. So I imagine they'll reveal whoever, like, the third and maybe fourth armies are gonna be. Well, maybe something like that. What would a dwarf have to do to get an invention accepted by the Engineer Guild? Generally speaking, they need to show that it is extremely reliable, that it has no, like, it has no faults, no severe downsides of any means whatsoever. Should be borderline guaranteed to function as intended, and it also needs to serve a very obvious need. Loved your Araby vid. Any more plans for those? Yes, absolutely, 100%. I really, Astalia is the next one I want to do. No, I like Tilea. Tilea is the next one I want to do. That is on my to-do list. But right now I'm really trying to blitz through all the end time stuff. And then I have a tinfoil hat video coming out about something that y'all are gonna think I'm fucking stupid for, but I'm gonna do it. No new things in the books. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I imagine it's gonna be whoever the third and fourth armies are. So probably, like, ideally, holy sweet fuck, Godzilla. God damn, that is a shit ton of gift subs. Holy fuck, dude. That was super generous. Wow, holy shit, that's a lot of gift subs. God damn, thank you for the 25, man. That is wild. I guess it was payday for you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Hope you're having a good... Damn, alright. I was just sitting here fucking wagging my tongue. Damn, dude, thank you. If you got a sub, please make sure to thank Godzilla, because that is super fucking generous. Goddamn, thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. Your money's on Death Faction? Yeah, Ossiarchs would be... I would really love Ossiarch Bone Reapers to get an extended range. God, thank you, Godzilla. I hope you're taking care of yourself, dude. Please make sure you're taking care of yourself. Yeah, Ossiarch Bone Reapers, I want them to get their fucking archers, dude. That's a lot of vulgarities. Sorry, I got caught off guard. Plus, I swear a lot. I don't know. It makes my brain itch in a good way. I would very much like for Ossiarch Bone Reapers to get a notable expansion to their range. The biggest ones being that I want them to get archers, because we've seen an Ossiarch Bone Reaper archer. They got an archer as part of one of their Underworld warbands. So I would love to see, like, a dedicated archer unit. I would also like to see more constructs, like more non-human big things. Would be really, really cool. Necromancer Cobalt, you just gave me a thought. What other things appeared in 6th edition for other factions? How grim does it get, at least a TLDR? Oh, really easy examples are like the Lizardmen 6th edition book is much more focused on how the Lizardmen are like a fallen civilization that doesn't remember anything at all. And it portrays them more as like a pseudo-barbaric faction of lost creatures that, like, the Slans still kind of have an idea of what's going on, but everyone else among the Lizardmen have turned very, like, zealotrous, and they worship a lot of really bizarre ideas and religious concepts that are portrayed as just blatantly false and not true.
I always love looking and listening to the stream while I do stuff. Keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to more Lorbeard Sot smile.
Sialic Bear Minis, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the sweet words. Yeah, I'm ready for more Lorebeards too. I hope Andy's feeling better soon. I need to check in on him later today. I hope he's feeling better. But like, yeah, the Lizardmen are portrayed as very barbaric, and like they're like falling into a really nasty form of religious zealotry where they're like constantly sacrificing people, and a lot of the artwork is like really, really cool, but also pretty bleak, where there's a lot of art. There's a really famous piece of artwork where like you see a Slann like unleashing these weird. He has like these two floating orbs near him that are shooting out lightning and like roasting the flesh off a bunch of zombies. There's a picture of like Saurus fighting a group of dark elves, and like as the Saurus are like ripping into people, there's like serpents and jungle swarm type units like jumping out, like biting elves in the face and doing all sorts of crazy shit. A lot of the art is like really gory because it's black and white. They were able to portray a lot of really messy stuff without the colors being an issue. But all of the stories from the various books are much more downtrodden. The Empire features a lot of stuff, like a lot of symbolism and art that shows the Empire as being a grotesque land of decadence that has like an obsession with doomsdaying and people believing that the end times are coming and other people thinking they're just being ridiculous. It shows like this really interesting clash between the more religious aspects and the more mercantile fat cat and like the conflicts of those cultures. The Dwarf book is very heavily about the fall of the Dwarf Empire and how it's kind of descending into ruin. The Elf books, the Dark Elf book has a lot of really pretty dark artwork in it. A lot of very what you might almost consider over the top art of like witch elves and sorceresses. If I recall correctly, there's either a short story or a thing in the 6th edition Dark Elf book that depicts like a guy who gets captured by witch elves and he's taken to the Temple of Cain, and he basically is like forced to have sex with a witch elf, and like right as he like reaches climax, she like stabs him a bunch and like rips his heart out while he's still alive, and like it's very like, oh my gosh. The High Elf book depicts a lot of how like the elves are falling and the High Elves are a dying race and like they don't have the influence the world they used to, and talking about like the horrors left over from Grom and how the elves are just not able to be anywhere that they're able to be. Eltharion the Grim becomes Eltharion the Blind because his griffin was killed, and he was blinded after he was tortured by Malekith, and he's like going along this route to become like a sword master who fights only using like his hearing and other senses. And like it's very grim. Everything is really grim. The 6th edition books are very interesting. But yeah.
Another wretched foul lizard thing joins.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the game opening up.
Cursed Sotek spawn.
Loremaster, thanks for all the lore so far. It's the greatest thing that carried me through some dark times.
Oh.
Volue bless you and Andy the Loremaster duo.
Grombrindal, I really appreciate this, the kind words, my dude. Thank you for the 6 months. It's very sweet of you.
X100. Would Alberic have a massive Dreadfleet style ship in the lore? If so, should he have some form of shipbuilding in Total War?
Would Alberic de Bordelot have a giant ship? As a Duke of Bordelot, which is a place where Manon is worshipped as equally as the lady, I would say, yeah, that'd be pretty reasonable. Especially because some books, not all, but many that I have read, depict Bretonnia as having one of the greatest fleets in the old world. Like, they are up there as far as how powerful their navy is. So could he have some form of big old ship type thing like the Vampire Coast? Yeah, I could see the argument for it. I think that would be a good way to help differentiate him, especially because if they really lean into that aspect, one thing that would be fun is that Bretonian galleons are allowed to have cannons, because they're not crewed by knights. They have a different, there's a loophole there. So you could give him the ability to, like, have the Zuffbar 42 pounder ability where he, there are cannons being fired from the ship, and so he has like army ability access to cannons, which could be kind of unique and fun. You could almost play him as more of like an outlaw faction in that sense.
X100 bits for Sotek.
Hey, Sir Fire, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's very sweet of you. Thank you. All right, so I think that's enough tongue wagging. I'm trying to do more of that with streams. Like, when we get in and we're about to start a stream for a day, I think it's good for us to just kind of chill and chat for like an hour or so, somewhere in that ballpark. That way we can all just get caught up with each other's days and see how we're all doing. But we do have a goal for this stream, which is to finish this campaign. We're finishing it. So for those that are, because we've gotten the short victory, all that's left now is to get the long victory. And all we have to do is take, occupy, loot, razor, sack 15 more settlements. That's it. That's the only thing left to do. Now, the tricky part is we are trying to maintain our friendship with Grombrindal while doing this, which is a little tricky because we cannot let, we also don't want Marathi to declare war on Grombrindal, and the two of them do not like each other. They are not friendly right now. We do not want them to declare war on each other, because if that happens, obviously I have a problem. But I will side with Grombrindal, which means I would lose control of half of ULTHUAN, which would be a problem. Well, not half, more like a quarter, if that. But it would still be a problem. I don't care if Hellebron betrays us. That is certainly possible, but I don't care if she does.
Who seeks the mistress of Harganet?
Oh my god, I'm within one of confederating her? Ooh, I am tempted to try and force it. Okay, let's do this. Here, let's start off with some good old potential save scubbing. That's the best way to start a stream. So, we're gonna do a hard save. And I'm gonna try and threaten her into confederating.
Speak louder than words.
And if it doesn't work, then we'll go from there. Just give her money. I don't think you're able to do anything else with a confederation offer. Like, I'd have to give her money and then wait. But let's just see if this works. Dang it. It didn't work. Alright. Fine. Okay, but maybe if we get lucky next turn, maybe if we get lucky next turn, it'll go up a little more. Though we might try and get her in a war versus a mutual enemy. No, the crisis has not yet started. It's about to start. We got the Tomb King crisis. Thanks for the hype train, guys. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, hype trains are weird because it's not about how much one person does. It's about like how much, it's more about the number of people, not what it actually is. Yeah, end is nigh. 10 turns until Tomb King stuff.
Make haste. I have rights to lead.
Now, what I want, I want her to join wars that I'm in, or I can join wars that she's in. So she's at war with Hexwaddle like I am. I'm almost wondering if I should bully somebody else. I could bully Bordello just to get more. We want as many conflicts as possible going, because that, you know, distracts with bread and circuses and all that. I don't think I can declare war on Sigvald without getting in trouble. Oh no, I'm at war with him. Oh, okay. So maybe I want her to join that war then. That's what I need.
Mother of... Don't waste my time with petty intrigues.
Yeah, because she needs a nearby enemy, is what she needs. Okay, so she doesn't want to do that, but I do not mind losing the Chill Road. Because it's in a weird place. So let's do that. I'm gonna have her give me a shitload of money.
Understood.
Join that war so she has somebody to bully. Which, like, nukes the shit out of our chance to confederate her, but that's fine.
Blood.
That is A-okay with me. And now I'm just gonna start punching tons and tons and tons of people in the face all over the world.
Hi, Beastmaster.
You are going to get the Sword of Cain. And then I will build you an army worthy of Mordor.
Hi, Beastmaster.
So why don't you go get the sword?
Dreadlord of Nagara.
Dreadlord, awaiting command.
A fine plan. Kill.
Meanwhile, we're gonna go ahead and start striking places around the world here.
Their meager wealth is mine. Black-hearted Dreadlord.
Because that's the next best thing. Alexander, thank you so much for the super chat. Sotek, I'm playing Durthu. How would you explain lore-wise confederating Coadil? Like, how would Coadil be purified? So, within the story of the lore, Durthu has the power. He has the ability to purify
Dreadlord of Nagara.
very large parts of Athel Loren
Lord of the Black
by
Lord.
using his absolutely obscene amount of might as the as one of the last remaining elders. However, Durthu does not realize that, because Durthu is so caught up in his rage
Lord of the Black
that he fails to recognize that there's a way out, essentially. You know, there's a way he can make things better. So in your campaign, what you're basically representing by the idea of him getting control of Coadil would be Durthu finally waking up and realizing what he's actually capable of. And taking action. You know, finally stepping up and fulfilling
Dark Lord.
his true potential.
Supreme Sorceress of Grom.
Which, of course, his true potential in this case would be, you know, that. Healing Coadil and, you know, bringing him back into the fold. Where is... Oh, there's Mal... I was like, where the fuck is Malekith?
Lord of the Black Tower.
Potrak, good to see you, my dude. How you been? Alright. So we are doing our best to distract our fellow Dark Elves with bread and circuses. While we do some other things. What is the release date of the new DLC? My current guess is late October. That is my current guess. Late October, early November. However, that is quite literally a shot in the dark guess. Your guess is as good as mine. Oh. Oh, okay, but he's isolated at sea. Okay, that's fine. I can take advantage of that.
Dreadlord, awaiting command.
All right, why don't you head for... Trying to think if it would be better to engage at sea or engage on land.
Dreadlord of Nagaroth.
Dreadlord of Nagaroth.
Lord of the
Gotta keep those troops pumping. Yeah, that's fine.
Go on.
I think it's better to approach by sea, because then we can strike at like all these different like ports. We just gotta be cautious about it. I'll deal with that in a second. He's coming in.
into these confines.
All right, he's drawn the Sword of Cain. Cool beans. Trying to think of where would be the best place for him to... Let's do that, and let's...
I have control.
We can start to build military structures down here to prepare for your arrival. That'll be fine.
What?
You should be full healed enough now that you can go to war with Sigvald.
Tyrant of Nagaroth.
Take the Black Ark with you.
Admire your darkness. I approve of these dark deeds.
Dark deeds. Do that. We're gonna be able to get some really cool upgrades next turn, which is cool. Grab that. Grab that. Okay, so now Malekith. Kill ourselves a big ol' army of dinosaurs. What's next on achievement hunting? I don't know. I'd have to look. I think we can do... I know Empire is one I still need to do. I think I still need to do Bretonnia. Let me look here. I still need to do Empire, High Elves, Vampire Counts, Warriors of Chaos, Skaven. No, wait, Norska, Vampire Counts, Greenskins, Bretonnia, High Elves, Warriors of Chaos, Vampire Counts, and Empire. So, yeah, pretty good little list there. Alright, so we've got a big ol' angry army of dinosaurs, but I've got dwarf cannons, so. And I've also got a nigh invincible level 50 Malekith. This army is well designed to whoop up on, actually, you know what? Yeah, we can put, we'll layer these a bit. We can do executioners. Standing a little bit behind the halberds and layer the halberds there. Got Trollhammer torpedoes, and then we've got shades to help reinforce. Chariots and Medusa to help hold down the flanks. Got our sorceress, big ol' Hydra, which we will put on this flank, I think. And then the Death Hag can mostly hang out with our front line here. Where's my master? Yes, he's on a chariot. We'll go over there. Actually, no. I think I'm happy with him helping guard her for now. Alright. Let's go harass a bit. Sticks and Stones, thank you for the very generous super chat. Thank you so much. How are the two kings able to use the Lore of Light when they're all undead? There are side effects. So, P.S. Level Lords, Masters, and Death Hags on the same turn you declare war for a chance. Oh! That's cool. I did not know that. Oh, I don't like that.
Sorceress!
I mean, if they're just gonna stand there, I might as well.
Dark sorceress! Aria Sarius!
Why are we landing?
Carnage awaits!
I crave battle.
I'm gonna go kill that thing.
Attend me.
I'm gonna start falling back towards my army. We'll fireball a couple times.
Show us the target, Lord.
Cannon. Actually, well, let's focus the Skink Chief.
For the Karazanko.
Sorceress of Grund! Sarafan! My power is
Good work, my dear. Organ guns, open it up. Plop, 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 plop. It takes forever to kill Bastillodons. There's a Soul Stealer, make it go a little faster.
Death Hag!
Oh my god. Wow.
Eager!
They are getting, those pterodons are not having a good time. Oh, there are skinks. I didn't think there were any. They're all bunched up, so let's let you have some fun. Okay, Stillodon's dealt with. I'll just drop a big fat doom bolt on it. That should kill it. Hopefully.
Ruthless. Now mercy.
No!
Death Hag!
We're gonna make the dwarfs frenzy.
Feel my fury!
I'm gonna word of pain that thing, so it has really, really bad melee attack. Executioners, countercharge.
Dark elves. Born of vengeance.
Black gods! Feel the dark arts!
Let's get some big buffs going. Pop the Helm of Discord.
Iron dread.
Make sure that thing does not come back.
Forward. Battle call.
Do a little bit of harassment here.
Destroy. On to slaughter. Malekith.
Malekith, we're gonna go for a big fat Soul Stealer right there.
Queen, sister of the dark conqueror!
Sorceress, we could drop a Pit of Shades here.
Aria!
Okay, he's not coming back.
Iron dregs. Shoot the waddocks. Ready to serve. Attack the Urks. Performing.
Looking good, looking good. Let's buff our executioners on that flank a bit.
Sarius!
Send in the Medusa to reinforce.
No fear. The true king.
Okay, we don't need to worry that much about running people down.
True heir of Anariel.
I'll do some last little pockets of damage, but I'm not too worried.
We stay put.
Death Hag!
Good work, good work.
Carnage falls. Kada. Chosen of Cain.
I can just fly around and bully some various little groups. Okay, so Sticks and Stones, to answer your question, Why are Tomb Kings able to use the Lore of Light when normally that causes problems for the undead? So, you are correct. However, it is worth remembering that the Lich Priests, which are the magic users of the Tomb Kings, with the exception of the very rare Tomb Prince or Tomb King that can use a little bit of magic, they always use the Lore of Mahakara. But for the Lich Priests that can wield the Lore of Light, they are not undead. They are actually completely alive. They are very, 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 very decrepit, ancient, not in good shape alive people, but they are nonetheless alive. And do not suffer from the more gnarly, the exorcism aspects of the Lore of Light that would cause problems. And for them, the Lore of Light is very much an expression of their, of a lore of divinity. Because light magic is very heavily associated and has an intricate relationship with divine abilities, or sorcery and things of that nature. So for them, the Lore of Light is, you know, goes along, and the same thing for the Lore of Death, where it's once again from their angle, the way they see the world, one of those kind of religious expressions of understanding the world through a certain lens. But that's why they are not punished, so to speak, or why they're able to very effectively wield it. That being said, there are undead wizards that exist out in the world who, just like there are chaos wizards, demons even, that are able to wield the Lore of Light without it, despite the fact that they are made of something that the Lore of Light is very well designed against. Because while the Lore of Light has the ability to kind of like break down the material makeup, so to speak, of, you know, living creatures, or magical creatures, where the Lore of Light is very heavily designed against things like constructs, forest spirits, the undead, demons, creatures that have an etheric makeup. Nonetheless, it can be wielded by those kinds of creatures. It's just that if they happen to get blasted by it, it starts to very rapidly break down the material that they rely on, if that makes sense. Hopefully that is a helpful answer. Just gonna squash some random source here at the end. Here, have a Doom Bolt. Alright, that's good enough.
Another wretched, foul lizard thing joins the red host. Cursed Sotek spawn.
Won't be subscribed much longer since I can't work as much anymore. However, I hope you're doing well, Sotek. Haven't caught a stream in a while.
Schmuck Nugget, thank you so much for the 26 months. Don't worry about that at all, dude. I'm happy just to have you pop by and visit.
X100.
Don't ever feel like...
It would be a lot of work, but I kinda wish Ariel would get the reverse Isabella treatment and become an optional LL in Orion's faction. So if you choose her as LL, you get Orion as a LH, but if you play as any other Wood Elf LL,
ULTHUAN, yeah, I can see the desire for that. Like, that, you're not the first person that's brought that up as something that would be fun. I don't think by any means that is an impossibility. I do think that it would be not super easy. It would certainly come with challenges. But I think it would be doable. Absolutely. It just would not be... It just would not be super... Like, it's just something CA would have to make time for, and it would. I will say it would require an unfortunate amount of work. Would be the difficulty, because you are correct that it would not be necessarily a super easy thing to do, because you'd have to go in and design everything for Ariel as a legendary lord from the ground up, because none of that would be in place. So you'd have to figure out faction effects. You'd have to figure, like, you'd have to bring back in the voice actress and pay them to do a ton of extra work, because she'd have to record diplomacy lines, she'd have to record some other stuff, you'd have to come up with, like, now I will say that making her an alternate version of Orion would make it easier. That would deal with a lot of the major issues, because then you can just look at that and go, oh well, you know, she just has you know, we know that she just has you know what, I'm actually gonna take another turn or so to heal. But you'll be able to say, oh well, you know, we just want her to have, you know, she has his start position, so we don't have to worry about that. She has like very similar faction effects. I don't know if that's something CA wants to do. I understand that it is a request by some people. I mean, I am fine with her as she is, but that doesn't mean that it's not something that should be looked at. I think, honestly, I think that would be one of those things that could be good, potentially, to poke CA about on the forums and the subreddit and all that stuff, from the angle of, hey CA, like, maybe you could use one of your patches to do this. You know, one of those little sub patches where, you know, they want, you know, I've literally sat in a room, a virtual room, but I've sat in a room with Creative Assembly devs who have said very bluntly, like, what we really need and what we really want is feedback. Like, we need people to give us feedback about what they want to see in the game, what they want added, all this stuff, because, like, that's what we're trying to do with these patches between, you know, the major content drops, is to make sure that all of them have the ability to approach some aspect of the game that people want improved or fixed or whatever, and to try and make things better.
What do you see?
So I would say that would be a really good option for one of those things, to reach out and say, hey, it'd be really cool if y'all could try and do this. I think that would be a really good one for that. So if I were you, I would put that somewhere where they could see it. I will once again, you know, I'll confess that that's not something that would be particularly high on my wish list. That would be so far down, it's not even funny. But I can certainly understand the desire for it. Did I see your message in Steam? Funny you mentioned that. I actually tried to open it, and then Steam, like, just fucking died on me. I won't say that's an impossibility, but what I will say is shit's busy. My dude, shit's busy. I wouldn't count on it anytime soon. I'll say that. How do you keep motivation for long campaigns? I find myself switching to something else by turn 25 far too often. Isaac, thank you very much for the super chat. My answer to that is that I have goals. I make a goal for myself. There's a particular thing that I am trying to accomplish, whether it is fulfilling a certain victory condition, unlocking a certain achievement, testing a certain feature, looking for a particular bug. I look for specific things that I am trying to accomplish, and once I have achieved what it is I've set out to accomplish, then I'm done and I move on. So I am not someone who's gonna sit there and play like a like 500 turn campaign where I take over the entire planet, because that's just not the way I enjoy and play the game. Some people do, and you know, kudos to them. I also don't play as much or for as long of hours as some players, so I don't have, you know, there are certain kinds of, I also try to do things in a reasonable time frame in my brain. You know, like Legend of Total War has a very he's a very patient man when it comes to playing Total War Warhammer, and is willing to invest a just staggering amount of time to accomplish something in game, whether it's like winning a battle or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, nah, fam. Like, I don't have the time. I just don't care that much. So what I would recommend is think about and figure out what it is you want to accomplish. You know, what are your goals? And once you know that, like once you know what it is you're wanting to accomplish, you're wanting to do, then you are you'll be in a much better position to approach and say, oh, well, I want to do this, this, or this, and then you just play until you accomplish it. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Did I see your message sent by Fishman Carrier? No, I didn't. I think he may have gotten, I saw some ogres having sushi earlier, so unfortunately I think your messenger may have run into some slight issues. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's perfectly fine. Alright, we're just gonna have Malekith bully the Quaddle. Fucking Quaddles. And then I'm gonna get off a big old fat Soul Stealer while that's going. Gaze of Malice, some skinks. Nice. We're just gonna enjoy our hill back here. God, I hate they gave the Quaddle a beak. One of my, like, most desperate hopes that I know will never play out, but man, do I hope, is that one day CA will consider doing, like, a redo on the Quaddle and get rid of the beak and fix the stupid design. I know they'll never do it, but a man can hope. A man can hope. Okay, I do actually want to go back towards my own army so I can Power of Darkness some more dwarfs. Poison is so annoying. Ugh. Stop making me slow!
Spreading misery.
Yeah, I don't know where CA got the bird beak from. Everything I've ever seen always has a dragon or a serpent head, and CA was just like, what if we just did something really fucking weird and just, like, made up our own version? It was like, why? Why did they constantly have to fuck with the Lizardmen designs? Drives me crazy. CA Lizardmen are very unique, and I don't mean that as a compliment.
Setting forth. Malekith. Death awaits. Moving out.
This whole situation feels a little dangerous.
I depart.
We're just gonna keep trying to hit as many of his big dinosaurs as we can with Soul Stealers. Oh my god! Ah!
Setting forth.
That was a good one.
Advancing.
Let's see if I can get those skinks to tank some of those shots for me. Oh boy, that is a lot of lizards.
I will have destruction.
I'm gonna need more magic. They're making it look better? Nah, dude. You just have bad taste. That's all that is.
Yotam 9 Shear.
Get out of here with your
X100.
garbage takes.
The Beak factory made a production error between the Zaranger branch and the Kotal branch.
Yeah, that is, that, you know, I could believe that. There was a miscommunication between the Zongor factory and the Quaddle factory. You know, it happens. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get in range of my Trollhammer torpedoes. No.
I crave battle.
What is this army led by? Red Crested? Okay.
I depart.
Could you not?
Forward. Onward. Spreading misery.
Oh my god, that is so much like big fucking cavalry. Why don't you move over and guard our flank here?
Malekith.
Oh, that's gonna be a juicy one. Oh yeah.
Death awaits.
Oh, I'm feeding on those single entities. You lot, go help guard that flank. This flank doesn't look as bad. Let's send the heroes squad to help over there.
Chosen of Cain.
Let's see if I can get a breath attack down the flank here.
Malekith. Fear me.
That was terrible. That wasn't worth it at all. More Soul Stealers!
Godzilla 20211
Infinite Soul Stealers!
Can you suggest to CA to add a bloody save button to the camera settings so I don't have to go through it every new campaign?
Bro, I have literally put that on, like, the request form I don't know how many fucking times. And they just don't want to do it. I don't know why. I can't tell you why they don't do that. But, like, I have tried. I have tried, and I have tried, and I have tried. And they're just so stubborn about it.
Destruction.
They just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. And it drives me crazy. God, I hate that so much.
My power is yours.
Oh, man.
Sarius, whisper to me. Valui, ruthless. Witness my cruelty. Feel the dark.
Malekith.
Okay, I need to help get this flank under control. It's gonna be a very spooky fight.
All shall tremble.
Sorceress of blood. Fell and foul. Death hag.
I lust for slaughter. Organ gunner.
Speak dark deeds. Sorceress of blood.
Okay, I need to start taking out enemy generals here.
True heir of Anarion.
Sorceress of blood. Aria, aria,
think my breath attack got interrupted. Sucks.
The Witch King.
Everything hurts! This would be a good soul stealer right here. Try and get rid of a lot of these salamanders and stuff. Okay, let's see if I can drop a good one of these. The forest fight's going okay.
Powerful. Trickery and deception. Feel my fury. Whatever it takes. Pain, suffering, death.
Just keep those debuffs going, my dude.
By my spear.
Sorceress of
Alright, that's looking okay.
Fear me.
Oh boy, this whole situation is very spooky. I'm gonna dive into the midst of this big old fucking mess. Kill more dinosaurs, please!
Death hag.
Make sure they don't come back.
Servant of Hecate.
I don't see any like really easy W's here. As far as like places I can focus. Yeah, there's so much cavalry. Cavalry is just nightmarish.
Red spears, on to slaughter.
They're not bunched up super easily in many places. Do a buff there. That's good. Let's see if we can encourage them not to come back. I need to just keep bullying the like dinosaur squad over here. Soul Stealer should kill that general, so all the characters should be gone. Fight in the forest is going okay, so that's nice. You come back this way.
The whispers. Blackguards.
These Blackguard are doing nice. That's good. That's good.
Battle ready.
Let's keep them on the move. Hydra did its job. It's hurting, but it did its job. Get some more melee defense on you. Malik's having a great time. He's just doing great. Just wailing on dinosaurs.
Warriors.
Attack!
Blackguards.
Chosen of King.
Okay, get them all bunched up. Yeah, good, good. Okay,
Kada!
he's getting close to his heal cap, but I don't think I like this. Like being, you know what? Whatever, it's fine. Ooh, okay. The salamander's gotta go.
Sorceress of blood.
See, you turn, shoot them if you can.
We are ready.
All y'all bully them. Y'all need to start heading back.
Sorceress of blood.
Let's keep the melee defense up on those. Malekith is just suplexing dinosaurs left and right.
Hear my words.
Okay, the ranged bullies gotta go. Let's enrage our. Dude, those hammers are kick ass, dude. The hammers have fought to the last fucking man without complaint. Like, goddamn, those. Oh yeah, victory! Hooray, victory! Oh my good lord, that was painful. That was so painful. I don't know how many lizardmen there were compared to us, but it felt like a
No mercy.
borderline infinite number.
The reckoning.
Oh my god, there was so much cavalry. A lizardman crisis would be nice. Oh yeah, I mean everybody wants all the different crises.
Ready.
And she hauls ass on that Pegasus. Good for her.
Winds rise.
The true
Ugh. Let's see if I can finish off this Stegodon. And better. For you. There you are.
Kill them.
When you go run down some stuff.
Cruelty.
Totally forgot I had the Sisters of the Singing Doom. Bonk.
annihilate them.
One more hit. Okay, good.
Malekith comes.
As many of the big dinosaurs as I can kill, the better. Make sure they don't come back. We can drop a few. Oh, the Hydra survived? Wow. Color me shocked. I thought for sure that thing was dead. I saw it over there at its heel cap. Oh, wow. 6 health left on the Hydra. Whoo! It really came in there at the buzzer. Poor guy. Oh my god. I am deeply impressed with that Hydra. Like, very, very impressive. I forgot that Malekith gets Doombolt on a 5. I need to use that much more often. Doombolt is such a good spell. I forget that Malekith has it at such an absurd reduction in cost. Backdoor Bash, good to see you, dude. Appreciate it. Do you think my boys, the Tomb Kings, will get an update / DLC in the future? I feel very, very confident the Tomb Kings will get a DLC. I think the Tomb Kings will get one DLC to kind of really wrap them up. You know, Lich High Priest Lord, your Tomb Herald as the generic hero, the Kimric Titan is like the big centerpiece model. And then I would probably think like Ancient Ushabti with great weapons as a new Monstrous Infantry unit. Maybe the Necro... What was it called? I think it was it's the melee version of the Bone Giant, but it has a different name. It's like it's either the Necro... Because, like, what? I think it's the Necrolith Colossus. Because the Vampire Coast one is the Necrofex Colossus, I think? But it's a something... Necro something Colossus. And it should be the melee version with, like, 2 big weapons. Oh, yeah. That was almost 2,000 Lizardmen, mostly cavalry and big dinosaurs. Oh god, the pain. Oh, the pain. It's real. Oh my god.
Another wretched foul lizard thing joins the red host. Cursed Sotek spawn.
Many brave
Like
Dawi.
Eternity King, I am freeing myself of the shackles of chaos. Amazon. Only thing I'll miss is making them also pay the Sotek tax. Smile.
ACN, thank you so much for the 38 months. The shackles of Amazon. Thank you, my dude. Yeah, but the big things, so the Kimric Titan, Ancient Ushabti with great weapons.
Withdraw.
I would say I would really like to get Tomb Guard chariots. So like heavy chariots for Tomb Guard. That don't have any shooting, but are like, and instead of there being like 9 of them, there's only 3 of them, or 4 of them, and they're like really heavy.
My cruelty knows no limit.
And then from there, so you would need 2 more units. The Necrolith Colossus, which would be 4, and then for the 5th unit. You'd have a number of options you could do for the 5th unit. If I don't know if Games Workshop would let us have it, but if Games Workshop would let us have it, the Bone Dragon, either as a mount for the Lich High Priest or as a standalone creature, would be pretty fucking cool. But I don't know if Games Workshop would be cool with that. They might be like, no, that's old world. How dare you? But that'd be pretty cool. Alright, I will fight this one myself, because Malekith is just gonna solo all this. If we're not allowed to have the Bone Dragon, then for the 5th unit, I could see something like... a slightly more elite archer unit might be cool. I don't know. Can anyone else think of anything? That's everything I got, I think, off the top of my head. I don't think there's anything else that's, like, explicitly mentioned in the background. But, I mean, that's pretty much a full slot. Any legendary heroes or lords? Oh, yeah, of course. Legendary lord would be Ramhotep the Visionary. Ramhotep the Visionary, who is hilarious. He's actually the most fucking hysterical Tomb King character. His whole thing, his lore is just that he is the most angry, probably autistic character in all of Warhammer Fantasy, and I love him. Ramhotep the Visionary is the Necrotech special character, and his whole thing is that he was like this amazing savant artist that created all of like these amazing works. And in the culture of the Tomb Kings of Nehekhara, there was a whole thing about when a Necrotech finished a masterwork for a king or a queen or a prince or whatever, they had to they would be killed. They would be ritualistically mummified and basically placed within whatever it is they created as a note of honor. It would, it was an expression of, they would be buried alongside it in recognition of their masterwork and creation, yada yada yada. It was a big deal. But Ramhotep looked at that and was like, yeah, cool, no thanks, because I have like infinite more masterworks to create. I can't waste my time dying. So what he would do is that he would create a masterwork, and then he would basically get somebody else killed pretending that they were him. So like he would either like drug somebody or get somebody drunk and have it be, and he would impersonate them. So like he would show up places and be like, oh yeah, I'm totally so and so. Like, I am absolutely this Necrotech, when he really wasn't. He was, like, pretending to be some other guy. So he would finish a masterwork, and then he'd get out of there. And the Tomb King's court, or Tomb Prince, or whatever, would come and be like, all right, you finished your masterwork, it's time for you to come die. And the guy they'd come collect would be like, well, I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't make anything. And they'd be like, yeah, okay, cute. And then they'd, like, take him and mummify him and stuff. So he did this over and over and over and over again. And got like a ton of people killed, which is hilarious, until eventually he finally created a masterwork that he was pleased enough with that he willingly went to his death. Great honor, all that. But then, all the stuff happens where all the Tomb Kings and stuff, everybody dies and comes back to life. And when he wakes up, he looks around and sees that the vast majority of his great creations have been buried by the sands or have been, lost to time and all this stuff. And he finally was like, and he's furious. He's deeply upset that, like, all of his great creations have been buried by sand. So he immediately starts, he immediately goes about fixing everything and starting to do repairs and all this other stuff. And basically the rest of his story is best described as a series of misadventures in which various other races or factions end up accidentally destroying one of his masterworks. Because, like, there'll be it'll be like a group of, like the most famous case was there was a battle where a Empire steam tank, for some reason, was down in Nehekara, and during some great battle, the steam tank accidentally like got thrown in reverse or did something where it ended up it slammed into this great terracotta wall and shattered part of it. And Ramhotep the Visionary was so outraged and so upset by this horrid machine hurting one of his masterpieces that he basically swore that he would make this like ridiculous epic journey to the Empire where he would proceed to go about with the explicit goal that he would hunt down the operators of that steam tank, would kill all of them, and grind them up and use like their bones and other whatever pieces of their body he could get his hands on to repair the wall. And I just admire him. I just admire him. He's hilarious. He's like one of the angriest characters in the setting, which is impressive.
Sorceress of Grund! Elfry and Aha!
Whoop! My bad. My bad! Ooh, that was a lot of friendly fire.
Druki, for the king!
Toss the target, Lord! I lust for slaughter! Hear my words! Zarkbot! Organ gunner! Will do! The true king!
And then for the legendary hero, it has to be Prince of Apophis. It has to be Prince of Apophis. Anyone else is completely unacceptable.
Advancing!
Prince of Apophis or bust.
Bring death on them!
We are ready! On to slaughter!
Because Prince of Apophis is just too fucking cool not to use.
Malekith comes!
Me and all my homies love the Scarab Prince.
Death awaits!
Let's keep the battle going a little bit longer so I can get another Soul Stealer or two out. Because, fun fact, you don't actually have to hit anybody for soul to get the healing part. The healing part's free. Asp bone construct. Yeah, they could do the asp bone snakes. I mean, it's literally just the it's just the frickin' Necropolis Knights without riders. So that would be pretty easy to do and make a decent 5th unit. Yeah. Since playing the Dark Elf campaign, do you think their battle mechanics should be reworked to be more of a greenskin wah instead of a one-pump chump? I personally, I don't know. I don't think I would change anything, to be honest. Like, I would, no. I think I would pretty much leave it as is. While I understand the desire to make it, different. Or make it similar, so that it's more, like, controllable, I guess. It's a really powerful ability. Like, it's pretty nasty when you get it to go off, and it has some pretty awesome, devastating effects. But a lot of its strength a lot of the justification for why it's so strong kind of comes from the aspect of that, well, you can't exactly control when it's going to go off, so when it does go off, it has to be, like, really powerful.
With noble purpose.
To which I say, like, yeah, like, yes, of course. But if you make it where it's like the Wa, where it's more of a ability that, like, it builds up and then fires off, and it builds up and it fires off, etc. Then you have to massively debuff it. Like, you have to go in and greatly reduce the firepower. Otherwise it's like way too good. And I don't know, I'm someone that I much prefer variety as opposed to, I care about having lots of unique flavor and unique faction effects instead of making it where, like, oh, well, we need to make sure that all of the effects are equally, like, all the effects need to be really powerful. And they all need to be, like, the exact same level of powerful. And if we can't have them at that level of powerful, then we need to drastically, then we should just make them all the same. I really don't like that. I really don't like the idea of making abilities similar or identical in the name of, like, oh, well, it's more important that it performs really, really strongly, or that, like, people are able to have nitpicky control over it. So we're gonna have to, like, make it where we greatly reduce the flavor in exchange for balance, necessarily. And I don't like that. I would rather try and keep it as close to what it already is. And if you need to make adjustments, you make small little adjustments to make it, function. But I don't like the idea of copy-pasting the same mechanic over and over and over and over and over again. I really, really don't like that. Personally.
Vicious Dreadlord. Dreadlord of Nagara.
And that's just this man's opinion, You don't have to agree with it by any means of the imagination. That's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, I'll take a name of power. I like names of power. Okay, some good Life Quencher. Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter get upkeep reduction, recruit rank, and ward save. Or Blackguard get, oh, you know what? I do have Blackguard in this army. But it wouldn't be that big of a deal to rearrange my... That's tough. Yeah, I think I'll go Grimgage. Because that's what I already have. So let's lean into what we've already been building. Instead of, like, trying to do a hard pivot when we're far away and going to war.
Dreadlord of the Druki, plotting a course.
Alright, we've picked up some new items. Another skull helmet. Trickster's... Yeah, I'll take Trickster's helm. It's pretty good. Darkstar cloaks. Darkstar cloaks super fucking good, actually. I think I'm actually gonna give that to her. I think I prefer that over the other thing. Forbidden Rod is super good, but the damage is very painful. Let's do... What is this one? No. I'd rather do that. And we can combine these two swords. I like the channeling staff. Tormentor sword is good. You can combine those. Chillblade, okay. Spell shield. This is a Cloak of Hag Grace. That's fine. Helm of Discord? Okay. Okay, I can cook with that. We can combine one of these forbidden rods with the trickster shard. I have a lot of blue swords, which is cool, I guess, but yeah, we can put the chill blade on you. Helm of Discord on you is fine. Talisman or enchanted item? I don't think I really have any more of those. Well, that's not true. Okay, yeah, that works on her. She's pretty big, so that'll work fine. You don't have any armor, so we can slap the Armor of Fortune on you. Cool. Skull helmet on the assassin will work well because it'll give him terror causing. Hydra blade's cool. Talisman of protection. Who's this? That's you. Armor of Fortune. I don't really like the Crown of Command that much. Fencer's blades. Actually, brass cleaver would be better. Ruby ring's cool.
Supreme sorceress of Grom.
Wait, did you have a different weapon? Okay, that'll work. Leveled up. Tome of Fury. I'd rather have Dark Star Cloak. You know, the Berserker Sword, Charm Shield. Well, I've got all these Forbidden Rod. Yeah, you can just have a Forbidden Rod. That's fine. Well, actually, oh no, you can have a Black Staff. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Grab Pit of Shades. All right. Hey, Hugh, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Black-hearted dreadlord.
All right, they're on their way to the north. You are healed up.
Moving on. I demand loyalty. Your desire?
Get that all built up.
Fear my malice. The ocean awaits. Nature's torment.
Okay, that's all looking good. Malekith is hurting, but I've got a Black Arc on the way down here that's going to be able to help out with that.
Noble of Nagaroth.
The lack of global recruitment is very painful sometimes. You know what? Yeah, fine. I'm tired of getting these alerts. Okay. Cool beans. Alright. That looks good for the moment.
What now? Tyrant of Nagaroth.
You know what? Don't build that, because I'd rather save the population. Violet, thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. I'm just imagining some of these VL lines in Icebreaker event. Hello, my name is Kurt. Fun fact about me, I lust for slaughter. Hey, you never know. There are plenty of men and women out in the world that lust for slaughter. Maybe you could, you know, you might have that in common. That could be a good...
They make poor playthings.
That would make a good, you know, starting branch to that conversation. Sure. Alexander, for weapon variants, could we get Blackguard or Executioners with shields? So, is it possible? Yes. Is it something that I think is likely? That one I'm a little more hesitant towards. I wouldn't say that it's super likely in my opinion. Mostly because... Wait, where is this guy? Oh, he's down like a fog. Okay, that'll work. Mostly because the all the weapon variants that I think you're really likely to see from CA are things that actually existed at some point in the tabletop. And to my knowledge, none of those, like, executioners with, like, different weapon types and stuff are not really a thing. From any time that I have seen the setting. Not to say that it's impossible, because, I mean, the only thing you'd really have to draw from would be the Warhammer Online MMO, which I have not seen any indication whatsoever that Creative Assembly is, like, really interested in pulling from that in any meaningful way. Which is sad, because I love Warhammer Online, and I would love to see some cool references from that game put into this. That would make me a very happy person. But, so, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it's very likely. Because that would kinda, from the way I see things, that would open a pretty hefty can of worms in regards to, like, oh, we should just put every possible variant for every possible unit, because why not? Like, you know, what about, like, Temple Guard with great weapons, or Phoenix Guard with sword and shield, or Sword Masters with sword and shield, or White Lions with double axes, or, and, like, you would just fall into this bottomless pit of what ifs. And I genuinely feel... Oh, I could get thunder barges. Holy shit, we gotta save up for that. I genuinely feel that it would be a problem. So my knee-jerk reaction would be to say that if it has a tabletop justification, so if it's something that existed at any point whatsoever, at any point in Warhammer Fantasy Tabletop, then sure, go for it. It's a viable choice. I would say if it never existed in a tabletop variant, so it's like it's something that we're just kind of pulling out of our butt, then no, you shouldn't do it. Because there is likely some other unit, either it's not really something the faction is supposed to be particularly good at, or it's something that would trample on another unit's performance. So, like, when you're dealing with Dark Elves, one of the really big core themes behind the Dark Elves is that they're all about aggression. They're all about offense. About being, like, really up in your face, rah, 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 aggressive. And so if you kind of come out and start going, well, when I play Dark Elves, I don't really feel like I have enough defensive units, so I think we should invest very heavily into making more, like, defense tanky tank units. That's going to change how the Dark Elves... It doesn't really fit their design, if that makes sense.
Disengaging.
Oh, good, it worked. I was hoping to make him go away from my dwarfs.
Words have great power. The power.
Eh.
I tame the untamable. To your dens, healed beasts of Druki.
Beast, beast, beast. I guess I could catch this army between these two? I mean, Malekith's army is a little weak at the moment, but...
Dark servant, dread carnage and bloodshed await.
Very nice. And just get where we're able to recruit a lot of these higher tier units.
Dreadlord, awaiting command.
Alyssa Barbstorm's making a name for herself over in Lustria. Look at her go. Let's see. Why don't you get... Let's get more damage. The assassin's got over 1,000 missile strength. Very spooky. Alright, for you... We can go the... Artery. Yeah, that works.
Favored of the Witch King.
Do dwarfs... Oh, good. They have new allied missions. Hell yeah. Quetgar. Whoever that is. Mazdamundi is nearby. Which means he's heading towards me, more than likely. Sigvald is coming close to my navies. Mazdamundi's worth more, though. Yeah, we'll take the Mazdamundi mission. He'll be coming after Malekith soon. I think the best thing for us to do would be to attack this guy.
Anchors away.
Try and catch him between... It's not going to be a fun fight, necessarily. Okay, good. He is actually going to just stand and take it. Might actually be better to auto-resolve this one. I lose a Regiment of Renown, but that's about it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yotam 9 cheered. X100. I had an idea for a universal TW mechanic like unusual locations, rivalry defeat traits. Basically unique rewards for winning lawful rivalries. For example, killing Volkmar as Belakor awards a unique
Oh, yeah. Killing Volkmar as Belakor gets a unique banner. Killing Belakor as Tic-Tac-Toe gets a unique trait. They already sort of have it with such an uncertain that it'd be nice if they expanded it. Yeah, that could be fun. Adding in more like specialist traits. Griefbringer does discourage. Faded Shield. Actually, I will take Griefbringer on him.
Yes.
Okay.
The ocean awaits.
Lord of Nagaroth.
No, I can't get within healing range. Ugh. All right, that's fine. Whatever. How close am I to victory? We need 8 more settlements. Okay. Alright, that's all coming along. We need these guys to head north.
Such slaughter awaits. Vicious dreadlord. Set the sails. Such slaughter awaits. What?
No, I don't Don't want to do anything there. A rebellion? Who dares? Balls Anvil. Oh, because all the Slanesh corruption. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's got a big garrison. It'll be fine. All this looks fine.
Godzilla 20211 cheered. X100.
Hey, Godzilla.
About to do my first Grim campaign since the DLC and the Deeps came out.
Very cool. Have a good time with it. I enjoyed playing Ungrim quite a bit in the campaign I was doing with Andy. So I imagine you'll have a really good time with it. But yeah, best of luck with that. Hope you have a good time. Okay, I think I'm fine with him just kind of hanging out here for a minute. So why don't you pick up some sisters and some bolt throwers for your crew? What are we doing over here?
Supreme
All right,
sorceress of Grombrindal.
you're getting stuff. Okay. I'm building up my power in the region.
Beyond compare.
More iron! More iron! What kind of playstyle do you think Kesh would have if they ever made it into Total War? Ooh.
Only victims.
What I imagine Kesh would very heavily revolve around would be, I think, Kesh would be interesting. I think Kesh would be a chaos faction that relies. So what little bits of lore we have about there'd be a couple things you'd have to figure out about Kesh, as you were kind of like designing them and building up to them and all that stuff. So the big thing you'd have to start with is, do you want Kesh to have humans? Because in some of the lore about Kesh, there are notes about how the Kereshi have like there are some notes about the Kereshi that talk about that the Snakemen and the Naga are the great like lords and rulers of the jungles, but they hunt men like animals, or like they hunt men for sport beneath the jungle canopies, and are like real nasty and devastating and spooky and all that stuff. And so the thing you would have to ask yourself is, are the Naga oh, you know what? I actually need you to capture this so that I have some space here that Malekith can hopefully reach. Yes, there you go. That way he can start healing. But the question is, do they have a human component? Are there humans in the Naga faction? Because if there are humans in the Naga faction and they have like, they have like human soldiers that they send out ahead of them that, do all sorts of spooky, nasty stuff, or are like their frontline soldiers for whatever reason. Cool, fine, great. Then what you ask yourself is, okay, so with a human frontline, then we're looking at a tiered system where we have like probably lower tier, weaker human units that builds up to higher tier snakemen units. And then if there's a difference between snakemen and if there's a difference between snakemen and Naga, which there might be, you could make it where there is a difference between those two. Then you have your Naga as the top tier. So if you decide to go with that, then you have 3 thresholds of units that you're working with. If you're not using humans, so you say, okay, no, we're not going to have any human aspects to the roster. We're keeping it purely focused on snake boys, and snakemen like creatures. Then you go, okay, well that's simple. Then we have snakemen units, and based on the little scraps of lore that are available that talk about it, we have we know that the Naga of Koresh are big on the creation of monsters. So they engage in biomancy. So the use of magic to create big, spooky, stompy life forms. The Dreadworm being an example of that. So you'd have to kind of figure a lot of things out and play around with it, because you need to know what you're starting with. Like, I can't easily answer, like, oh, well, like, what should be the, you know, stuff we see here, because I have no fucking idea about, at least as of this time, like, I have no idea what GW's plans would be for a, you know, a race like that. Because depending on how Games Workshop designs them, my answer would be very, very, very different. But I don't know what Games Workshop's plans of them would be, so I wouldn't even feel remotely interested, to be blunt, in trying to figure out, like, what they should be like, because I would care much more about trying to make sure that they match with their lore as best as possible. But there'd be no way to know what that would require without seeing what Games Workshop's design plans are for them.
Yes. Master Druki. Master Druki. My time. My talents.
Druki sorceress.
I mean, based on the little bits about them that are out there, I would, off the top of my head, I think I would rather that they not have a human component to their roster, because a lot of the Chaos factions that we already have notable elements of, like, oh, you have, like, the slave part of the roster, and then you have, like, the actual true part of the roster. So you end up having things like, oh, the, you know, the Chaos Dwarves you have your Hobgoblins and your Orc Slaves, your Hobgoblins, and then your actual Chaos Dwarves. And for a lot of the Chaos factions, you have, you know, your Marauders, and then your Beastie Gribbly bits, and then the actual Warriors of Chaos. So with the Snake Men, I would probably leave out the human aspects, try and focus on something a little different.
Yes.
And really just dial in on everything about the Naga that can be thought up. But, yeah, I don't know. You'd have options. You know, I'd want to play around with it. But it would all depend very, very heavily on what is Games Workshop's plans. Which there are a lot of very, very, very credible individuals that I've had the chance to speak with, who say that GW is working on a lot of really bizarre, crazy, cool things. And that GW is trying to explore new ideas and new avenues and all this other stuff. So things like the Naga. Which would be really, really cool if it's true. And if it's true, I would really be interested to see where that goes. But that's definitely an if it's true. Right now. You know, nobody knows for sure that is willing to talk, I'll say, about what's going down at GWHQ these days. See, I don't have enough time before Mazdamundi catches up with me as the problem. We need to go back north. Much as I'd love to stay and punch Mazdamundi in the face, I need to put some distance between me and him so I can actually recruit an army. I need soldiers.
Master of cruelty.
Ready to ravage.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of things are up in the air right now when it comes to what GW is planning.
High Beastmaster.
There's a lot of potential,
I've skills to
Another
show.
wretched foul
but
lizard
no
thing
guarantees
enjoys
is
the
what I would say.
Cursed Sotek spawn.
Commander.
Drew Uchi Gang, Drew Uchi Gang.
Dritchi gang. Dritchi gang. I'll take some scourge runners. Give me some archers. We'll do that for now until we get some more stuff.
Tyrant of Nagaroth. Yes. Such slaughter awaits.
Lord of the Black Court. Anchors away.
I don't want to attack them quite yet.
Tyrant. Dreadlord of Nagaroth.
Dreadlord of Nagaroth. Tyrant. We have a deal.
You head north. Okay, development is coming. Oh, Tor Anlek is going up. That's nice. Good. Excellent. Good, 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 good. I think we can abandon the Temple of Kara. Well, I guess I can repair it. Wow, I actually managed to blow through all my finances. That's impressive. Porky Dokie, thank you very much for the 8 months, by the way. Really appreciate it. I thought pygmies were from Lustria. Yes, the pygmies are from Lustria. Which makes no fucking sense, because the actual, like, if they were gonna have developed the pygmies, which Games Workshop has heavily buried the pygmies as hard as they can, because their original implementation was very, very bad. But if they were gonna do the pygmies, you'd figure they'd be in the Southlands, because that would actually make sense. But far be it from me to assume that Games Workshop is going to do shit that actually makes even slight sense.
Dread King. Set all sails.
Lord of the Black Court. Tyrant.
Thought they were Southlands? Nope. Games Workshop did very rarely ever talk about the Southlands. That is not something they really ever cared to
Dreadlord, awaiting
develop.
command. Noble of Nagaroth. Death to all enemies. Speak.
Yeah, there's actually you can find it online. There is so back in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay First Edition, where the First Edition, the world was very different. Like the Warhammer world, if you go back and read First Edition, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, it is like borderline unrecognizable to modern fantasy. And there was a plan back then to do a Lustria book. However, it ended up never getting released.
I admire your
Due to just random stuff that happened. But if you go back and read that book, the book was basically done. And if you go back and read it, and read like what was finished in the book, the playable character type, so the things that you could be in the Lustria book, where you could be an Amazon, a Slann, which the Slann are not like they are now. If you go watch Andy and I's video on the
Reign secure.
Andy and I's video on the what do you call them? The old ones. This was back when it was all very different. So the Slann were more like warrior frogs. They almost looked more like battle toads than the Slann you know nowadays. And pygmies. So you could be a pygmy, you could be a Amazon, or you could be a the other thing. The pygmies, the pygmies were not well designed. They were a very racist caricature. It was bad. It was real bad. So GW proceeded in later years, Games Workshop dumped them into a bottomless pit and does not like to talk about them. Because it just looks, it's just not a good look. there's no salvaging it. I am someone that I very much think that it's always best to try and salvage older things and find ways to make it work in more modern lore. And the pygmies, it's like, ugh, I don't think we can really fix that. Like we'd have to do a lot to make that even remotely worth doing. It's probably not worth it. Especially because they're on the wrong continent, because the actual real-world pygmy tribes lived in Africa, and leave it to GW to be like, well, let's put them in the South America equivalent. British in the 80s. What can you do? Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Got a lot of monsters. Some other fun little things. A new Black Ark would be nice.
Their gods have no power.
Feel my wit.
Yeah, could you fix the pygmies? Yes, you could. But you'd have to remake them from scratch. Completely from scratch. Just because they literally don't make any sense in their current iteration. You'd have to go in and be like, all right, we're gonna completely like rip this out from the roots,
What now?
and completely rebuild them from the ground up. Which could be doable, but it would take a lot of work. And I know if I was like for some reason put in a position where I had any authority whatsoever at Games Workshop, and somebody was like, I want to do the pygmies, I would say, how about
Those who displease
instead of, why would you go into the ocean? Why would you do that? Whatever. I would much rather like do other things. Like I would want to fully develop the Southlands and build up everything in the Southlands, because the Southlands is so unexplored that it's just sad. I would want to heavily be like, okay, we're gonna fully develop the Southlands, and once we know what we're doing and we have a full plan for the Southlands, and we have like a full human nation there that's like very heavily based off like different African empires, like I would draw a lot of heavy inspiration from the Zulu empire, and like we take a lot of their mythologies and like adapt like the monsters and the various entities we can find from a lot of the really cool stories there. And we figured out like where Clan Pestilence is and what is like the relationship between these like various factions, and we have a history. We figure out what the Southlands Lizardmen are really like and what they're up to. Once we have a full plan and we've developed a significant amount of the Southlands, then and only then would I look and say, okay, now we can look at this and say, if we were to do them, how could we fit the pygmies into this equation? And it would be a big if.
Mornington Crescent cheered. X100. I want a standalone halfling civ, not one reliant on the Empire.
You want a standalone halfling empire? That's due. It wouldn't really be halflings. Like, I realize that's not what you want to hear, but they really wouldn't be halflings. The halflings, as they currently exist, are not truly capable of having their own empire. It's just no. That they're too small. They're very small, physically frail creatures that have a lot of very strong, awesome personality, and because of their friendliness and because of a lot of the various tools they bring to the table, they are able to coexist with other races to some impressive extremes, to the point where they live alongside ogres, they live along like humans, they live alongside dwarfs. That is their strength. To have an independent halfling empire would not make sense. You couldn't do that, in my opinion. It wouldn't work. Halflings can't use magic. They're small and diminutive. It just wouldn't make any fucking sense at all. You have gnomes. You could do gnomes. Like, gnomes have an independent empire that relies very heavily on, you know, being well hidden and relying on sorcery and all those other aspects, but it works and it makes sense. And there's a lot you could do there. But the idea of an independent halfling empire, I would say, is impossible. I would say that would be utterly impossible in Warhammer Fantasy. They have to coexist with another faction. Because the world's just too dangerous for them. They are small little guys in a big ugly world. Now in Age of Sigmar, now we're talking a different story. Which there actually is a very, very, very nicely produced, high quality fan army book made for the halflings in Age of Sigmar, as an Age of Sigmar faction. It's extremely well made. It's got beautiful art, cool lore. It's got a lot of really cool shit going for it. I realize that you may go, well, I'm pretty sure I said halfling in fantasy, not gnomes, nor did I say Age of Sigmar, but that would be my olive branch. And if that is an unacceptable trade, in your opinion, then I would say, unfortunately, that's the way they are. That's the best I could do for you.
Guided by authority. Dreadlord. Druki servant. Let them know death's touch.
Three more.
Favored of the Witch King.
3 more settlements till victory. And we have somehow managed to keep the peace between Hellebron, Grombrindal, and Marathi. 3 more cities. I could take like Swamptown, Pahux. I don't want to fight Mazdamundi, but I think that may be unavoidable. Actually, no, don't do that.
Another wretched foul thing.
Where's Boss Man?
Cursed Sotek spawn.
What would it take for the Dawi to retake a lost hold?
A lot, to put it very bluntly. And I realize that's kind of a stupid answer, but it would take a significant amount. To reclaim a lost hold, not only do you have to fight your way to the hold, you have to fight your way all the way across everything, that's going to be between you and home, and force your way in to a hold that is designed to keep people out. So you'll have to use like various secret ways and other shenanigans to get in. Once you're inside, you then have to contest with whatever it is that took the hold and likely is still lurking there. So you have to get rid of all the greenskins or skaven or monsters or trolls or whatever has taken up residence in the absence of the dwarves. Once you've cleared it, you then need to seal off the deeps, because properly securing the deeps is just not possible without a stupid amount of luck and other shenanigans. So you seal off the deeps. Once the deeps are sealed off, you then go about reopening and, you know, searching through all of the stuff that you still have access to. So clearing out each room one at a time, restoring it to functionality, purifying it, making sure there's no big issues with it. Once you've done that, you then need to make sure that all of your defenses facing outwards have been properly secured, because the biggest problem, right? The biggest thing that prevents the dwarfs from reclaiming a hold is that it begins. All right, so you got Angry Tomb Kings.
May their death be slow.
The big thing that fucks over the dwarfs more than anything is that the dwarfs are a magnet, where when the Dawi come out of their holds and they start marching against to retake something, it attracts every goddamn greenskin for hundreds of miles, because they all hear that the stunties have, you know, are stirring, and that the stunties have gotten ideas in their heads about coming out and taking back what's theirs, and that is going to attract greenskins in just horrific quantities. So the second they retake a hold, they're going to start getting attacked from basically every direction. And then some. Like, it's going to be ugly. So you have to secure the hold. Once everything is secured along those lines, then you have the next issue of that there are also going to be things from down below that are going to start trying to come up. A lot of that is going to be things like trolls and other monsters that are just hungry, and they can smell or hear that there's something above them that could potentially be made into food, could potentially be nom 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 don. Some of it's going to be Skaven or Night Goblins, who now have someone new they can loot and attack and assault and all this other shit, and it's never ending. It's a never ending line of creatures, monsters, and nightmares that want to kill you, and the entire time you're trying to rebuild your house. And as you are desperately defending yourself against an endless assault, you are also having to rebuild your home and try to repopulate. So you're defending your house and trying to grow a population. Meanwhile, you're going to be attacked relentlessly from the outside, meaning that you're going to be pretty much under perpetual siege. And under perpetual siege, anyone that tries to come and help you, because they want to, like, reinforce you or whatever, anyone that wants to come help has to fight their way through all of those various armies. So they're gonna have to do a breakthrough every single fucking time, and it's just a nightmare.
What brings you forth from your dusty wastes.
And that's why, for the most part, it's really always been unsuccessful. You know, Belagar never really took a very big amount of the hold of Karak Peaks. Belagar only ever captured a fraction of Karak Peaks. Karak Azgal. You know, Karak Azgal was first fell to Dork, the big, horrible war boss himself. The one that also would go on to destroy Karak Draz, which would become Black Crag.
A black-hearted rogue.
But
Yes.
even beyond him, the Karak Azgal was later claimed by a dragon. Graug the Terrible, who totally is not at all based on Smog the Terrible. No, of course not. Why would you say that? So Graug the Terrible took Karak Azgal for himself because he could smell all the good, delicious treasure down there, which the Greenskins had missed because it had been sealed very well behind, you know, lots of wards and other protective barriers.
I can feel that
moving amongst them.
And Skalf Dragonslayer, cool, awesome, super cool hero, managed to sneak in there and kill Graug while he was sleeping. He managed to sneak up on him and cleaved a big rune axe into his face and killed him. And despite that, the dwarves killed the dragon. They started to clear out the hold. Sure enough, as soon as all the Greenskins and Skaven realized that the dragon was dead, they came swarming. And the hold, the dwarves realized they couldn't hold it. It just wasn't possible. There was just no way whatsoever they could realistically hold on to it. So they, instead of holding on to it, oh nice, Arcaneth.
Little time or love.
Yeah, we did it through confederating the Jilf herself. Jilf Hellebrand came in clutch.
Who seeks my audience?
Always respect your Jilfs, chat. You never know when they're gonna come out of left field and
We Druki all want.
save it. We did it! Hooray! All right. So, contrary to my personal thoughts, we actually successfully got long victory on very hard with Grombrindal with us the entire way. So Grombrindal stayed our best friend the entire campaign, and we even managed to maintain a relationship with our mom. We took over ULTHUAN pretty much by ourselves. Mom helped out a little bit, but we took out 85% of it. And we confederated the Jilf right at the end. We did it! Hooray! So that's campaign victory. Oh man, that was actually fun. I'm shocked that we managed to get Grombrindal to stay with us the entire campaign. Did Grombrindal ever leave Nagaroth? No, he's still here. He basically owns the entirety of the, he took out Katep, which was nice. And he basically just owns the entire western seaboard. And I gave him a bunch of settlements in the north earlier to placate him during some matters. But he pretty much took all of this by himself. And then he just kind of turtled up for the rest of the campaign. But I had dwarf units in all of my armies for the vast majority of the campaign, and that made things fun.
Nagaroth nobility.
They did good work. Dwarf allies were great. Looks like Mom's about to attack him. Yeah, she already did try to attack him once, and we had to reload the save to finagle it. Because we had to... I forgot... Morathi didn't have any enemies after we killed the High Elves, so she started eyeing him up and was like, oh, I'm going to kill him. So we had to get her to join us in fighting Mazdamundi, and that fixed it. But yeah, we did it! Awesome, great, cool. So, with that, this campaign's done. Officially. So, now we can either do Empire, Vampire Counts, Warriors of Chaos, Bretonnia, Norska, or Skaven. Wait, yeah, so Skaven, Vampire Counts, Norska, Bretonnia, Empire, Warriors of Chaos, High Elves. I'm not going to do Greenskins because I want to wait for the next... I want to wait for Gorbad. I want to wait for Gorbad. So why don't we do a vote? I got to narrow that list down a little bit. I've actually already done a very hard campaign with Demons of Chaos. Even though I fucking hate them because they're designed terribly. That is definitely one of my... Fixing the Demons of Chaos is probably my biggest white whale. So anyway, let's do a vote. Let's do some polls. And then we can just kind of hang out and chat for a little bit. How's that sound? So... How many options do I get? I think I only get... Yeah, I only get 4 options on YouTube. So I'll narrow it down to 4. What campaign is next for very hard achievement hunt? So let's do Empire. I think Empire is definitely a good one because they've had a fairly recent, pretty big update. And they're in a good place. I'm also fine with Skaven, because I don't think Skaven are going to be getting a major update anytime soon. Vampire Counts, I think, is good, because while I'm praying to whatever gods will listen that Creative Assembly is going to do a Champions of Chaos themed type DLC for the Vampire Counts, I also don't think it's going to come anytime soon. I think Norska is likely to get updates in the near future, so I'm not going to choose Norska. We're not going to choose Greenskins because we know they're getting an update. I just did Dark Elves. Warriors of Chaos are going to be getting some stuff. So it either has to be Bretonnia or High Elves. I mean, I think Bretonnia's updates are not going to be that major, but they might be. Let's do High Elves. That gives us 2 bad guy factions and 2 good guy factions. All right. And then let me do it on Twitch. What campaign should... Oh, someone's already on it. Thank you, mods. All right, polls up, chat. If y'all would be so kind as to go ahead and vote, I would appreciate that. Oh, wow, you get plus 15% slave income. Like, just flat for the long victory. That is actually stupidly good. It's too bad it doesn't show you how much you're actually making from slaves. Like, I guess it just falls under building income? I'm not sure where it actually puts it. The slave system is not bad, but they need to, like... they need to update the UI, I feel like. Because... It feels like it should have a tab. Where, like, it explains more information, gives you more notes. Alright. So, with that, we're now good to just kind of hang out and chat. So I'm going to go ahead and take us out of the game. And take us back to this screen. That way y'all can see yourselves talking. You sweet little beings, you. You can say hi to each other. Or hi to people that may be watching this in the future. And I can turn on some chill background music. We can just hang out for a bit. Lore facts. Oh my god, 2 hours ago. Mornington Crescent. Oh, well, okay, I answered that. Lore fact 1307. How strong is a Slawn actually? Insane. Slawn are fucking insane. Is the answer. They are unparalleled in being some of the most terrifying fucking things on the face of the earth. Obscenely scary. Obscenely scary. And anytime they show up in an actual game or a book, they are nightmarish stuff. They appear and they're basically gods. Like I think they're gods. Or as close as you can imagine one. Of that they will, unless you're dealing with like just some of the absolute most powerful characters in the setting, they're gonna get dunked on by a Slawn. Like, thankfully, Black Library's been pretty decent when it comes to Slawn. The only 2 books I can think of off the top of my head that have Slawn characters, no, 3 books actually. There's a Slawn, well, it's more like a relic priest. There's a dead Slawn. There's a relic priest in Giant Slayer from Gotrek and Felix, who is super fun and really powerful and scary. There's also 2 living Slawn. There's one from Temple of the Serpent, which is the 2nd book in the Thanquil trilogy, and he is really well written. That Slawn is written super duper well and is fucking obscenely powerful. He's god tier powerful. And then you also have the Slawn from the Tyrion and Teclis trilogy, who is so powerful that Teclis senses him from hundreds and hundreds of miles away, asleep. And Teclis is like, if that thing notices us, we are fucked. Like, we are super, like, fucked with a capital F. Do not wake that thing up. So, like, he, like, didn't even want to use any magic. Oh, yeah, there's also a Slawn in, Burning Shores, and that book is terrible. I hate Burning Shores. Burning Shores, I think, is the worst Black Library book ever written. It's a terrible book. Though, hilariously, it did actually have a really important impact on the Warhammer Fantasy lore, because it's the very first book that actually details the planets of the solar system, which is hilarious. Alright, so Twitch chat voted for Skaven, but it was pretty close overall. YouTube chat, let me end the poll here, overwhelmingly vampire counts. And when I divide, okay, it looks like it's vampire counts. All right, so we'll do a vampire counts. I mean, that's thematic. It's almost October. I will say we probably won't start the campaign for a little bit, because the thing I really want to do now is I need to finish Space Marine 2. That is my next big one. Hello, Sotek. I have a question about the hobby. What would you recommend to someone that's new to it and wants to buy his first minis? I'm interested in Age of Sigmar and Old World, but I'm a little confused by how it works and what to buy. Okay, so, Alex, what I would say is, I would think about what is your goal? Is your goal to, like, I want to play the tabletop game, like, I want to build an army and I want to play the game? Or is your goal that I just think the minis are cool looking and I just want to get some cool stuff? Like, if your goal is just to have fun, which is great and awesome and cool, and just worry about, like, painting minis that you think are really cool looking, then just get what you think looks best. Get a cool mini. That could be good because it can allow you to get used to painting, to practice painting, learn like techniques, and get feedback from your community or online communities, which can help kind of take the pressure off and just worry about having fun with it and having like just learning to put models together and paint, do all that stuff. And then from there, if you want to explore like, okay, I'd like to worry about like, you know, going up to the next stage, well, then you can do that. If your goal is to immediately get into the hobby, then it's a completely different answer. Your goal is more artistic, then yeah, just get whatever looks awesome. I would probably recommend getting a mini that's going to be low stress. So like getting like a character that costs like 20, 30, 40 bucks, somewhere in that ballpark. You know, one of the cheaper character models, like just a nice little generic character. Or maybe getting like a low tier unit, something that if you were to end up playing the game, you would have a lot of them. So that way, your earlier painted ones, you wouldn't be like, oh, I don't want to use these, because like since there's a whole bunch of them, it doesn't really matter if they don't look like amazing because there's like 40 or 50 of them. So I would just get what looks cool. Just literally just go in. See, like, just look at the 40k models, look at the Age of Sigmar models, look at the Old World models, look at the Horus Heresy models, look at the Lord of the Rings models. Just look at the minis and see which ones catch your eye, which ones you think look cool, and just go from there. What's the plan on Wednesday streams? We will resume them as soon as Andy is no longer ill. So the reason there's not been Lorebeards or Wednesday night Lorebeard stuff is because Andy has been very, very sick. So, you know, I would deeply appreciate sending some good vibes his way, or if you're the religious sort, offering up some prayers to whatever you believe in, to wish him the absolute best. But he's been very ill. So as soon as he's feeling better and he's recovered, we will resume the show. So the next Sunday after he's feeling good, we'll do Sotek and Andy versus the End Times Part 2. And that the first Wednesday after he's feeling better, we will be doing a tier list stream for the Council of 13. But I don't know when that's going to be, because I am not God, and I don't know when Andy is going to magically be back to full power. So, I would appreciate y'all's patience and understanding. Also, Lone Sparrow, thank you for the 47 months. Well, that's almost 4 fucking years, my dude. Thank you, Jesus. Grimaldis, thank you very much for the 18 months. I'll let the bot read it off. Yeah. So that's the situation on that.
Another wretched, foul lizard thing joins the red host. Cursed Sotek spawn.
What or how do you think each of the Dark Gods tried to bargain with Inarian before he took up the Widowmaker? And what do I read to continue Malice story after Lord of Ruin?
If you have finished the Malice Darkblade books, so there's the Chronicles. Hopefully you're using the Black Library of Chronicles of Malice Darkblade. There's the Chronicles of Malice Darkblade Part 1, and then Volume 1, and then there's the Chronicles of Malice Darkblade Volume 2, and that's the whole series. I actually, hold on. Have they released Part 2 yet? They might. Here we go. Chronicles of Malice Darkblade. There's Volume 1. Have they released Volume 2 yet? I don't know if they have. They have not. Yes, they have. Maybe? Is that it? Yes, they have. Okay. So, let's see. This one, what does this one end with? Does it say? I think I actually need to buy this one. I don't know if I've bought this one yet. There we go. Lord of Ruin, Deathblade, and Bloodwalker, which I think are those short stories? Brings 3 full novels and 1 short story. Is Deathblade the finale? Deathblade might be the finale. Let's see. Yeah, Deathblade is the last book. Yeah, so yeah, just get the Chronicles Part 2. Deathblade is the last book. So Deathblade is the end times book. Is what I mean to say. So if your goal is, hey, I want to read through the entire Malice Darkblade series, then Deathblade is the final story. Why am I so fucking fuzzy? Hey, Mr. Voren, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah. But how do I think each of the Dark Gods tried to bargain with an Aryan? That's actually written. If you go, there's a short story called Anarian. By, oh god, who wrote it? Anarian by Gav Thorpe. Yeah. So it's also an audio book or an audio drama. So you can listen to an MP. There's an audio version, and then there's also the regular version. But it actually details that entire thing. So the Anarian story is quite literally about Anarian finding out that his wife and children are dead. And he is like, oh, I'm gonna go draw the Sword of Cain, and like the whole drama shit that happens with that. So like him and Kalidor talking, and then him and Draugr talk, and he gets on in Draugr and he starts flying towards the Isle, the Blighted Isle, and as he does that, each of the Dark Gods comes to him one at a time. So Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, and Khorne all reach out to him individually and try and persuade him not to do what he's about to do. And it's fun. It's a fun story. So I would recommend checking that out. You can get it the online ebook version for $4. Or you can get the MP3, which is a little over an hour, for $14 on the Black Library website if you are so inclined. You might be able to find it on Audible, maybe. I don't know. I'm currently working on a homebrew Warhammer Fantasy roleplay. I'm making a Nurgle character that causes earthquakes and changes the landscape, change like plate tectonics. Thoughts? That sounds really fucking scary. A Nurgle character capable of doing geomancy is pretty fucking spooky, my dude. I don't really have a lot else to add to that. Other than it sounds scary. Alright, my dudes. I hope you all had a fun time today. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get us all wrapped up. YouTube chat is in for a treat, because normally I only send Twitch chat to strange, weird places. But today, YouTube chat, you're gonna get to go to a strange, weird place. Aren't you excited? I'm gonna send y'all to a dark, strange, bizarre abyss. Or should I send you somewhere more normal? Decisions. No, I'm gonna send y'all somewhere weird. I'm gonna send y'all to a friend of mine who is a very different. She is a very different streamer, type of streamer. So, good luck. Have fun. And Twitch, I'm gonna send y'all. I'm gonna send y'all somewhere a little more normal, because I don't think anybody is online that's doing anything that I'm super interested in sending you elsewhere to. So why don't we do... so we do O. We've never raided this guy, and he's raided us in the past, so why don't we return the favor? Make... Perfect. Alright. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. I hope you had a great time. I'm really glad we got that achievement. It's done. I will probably be back later today, later this evening, to play some Space Marine 2. So if you have an interest, keep an eye out on my socials for that. I hope you all have a wonderful time. I appreciate you very much. I love your faces. I appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me and to hang out. And I wish you all nothing but the best. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, outro.